Well, happy new year, my soul friends. We made it to 2022, or as some people are saying, 2022, because when you say 2022, it sounds like you're saying 2022, like part two. And I don't think we want a part two of 2020, do we? Well, as you can hear from my voice, I'm having a little visit from a cold. I actually feel like the energy of 2021 was with me till the bitter end. I got sick at Christmas, a couple days before Christmas, felt better, and then I was down for the count and actually had a really, really hard day and night last night. So for my New Year's Eve, I was in bed, really in that forced surrender. You know, when you're sick, you can do nothing but be with yourself, with your body. And I had every intention yesterday of doing 2 videos. I wanted to offer guided imagery, even though I did an end of the year review for 2021, which was under, I had 3 things listed, the full moon, the winter solstice, and the end of year review. So I kind of combined all those. So you can still watch that as an end of the year review. It's mostly what I focus on, and I'm hearing reports from some people who watched. It was very helpful. But the imagery I wanted to do, I may do another time because it was really more specific to kind of a dark night of the soul imagery, you know, going into the darkness to reclaim our soul potential and to get really clear on what's not working. And so I may do that another time when I'm feeling a little bit better. But I also wanted to do the new moon video. And I got myself out of bed, got dressed, and said, I'm going to do this because this is what the energy of this new moon in Capricorn is all about. And, you know, Capricorn is all about showing up, taking responsibility, doing the hard stuff when you don't want to. So let me see. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to slow down. And I did do notes this time, which often, if you've been following me, and thank you, by the way, for those of you who have been following me on this journey on YouTube, it was a really kind of an interesting contradiction. I really desired to show up and outreach in a greater way to my clients and potential clients. But I was also really had a lot of insecurity and a lot of doubt and a lot of fear. And that still shows up. But one thing I had agreed on and made a sort of a commitment to myself that I would show up just as myself, not in a forced way. And I was only going to speak from my heart. And actually, that's when the best messages come, when I really just dropped into my soul wisdom, and not worry about it being perfect. Just speak to whatever wanted to come through me. And that worked for, you know, it works. But then what would happen is at the end of the video, I would say, oh, I forgot to mention this or that and the other. So, and because I'm feeling unwell and not in my full capacity, I did go ahead and do some notes, and I thought, I'll just read the notes. But what I'm going to try to do, which I think is going to be the foundation, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment more for all of you, the foundation of how I'll do these videos going forward, having my notes, reading my notes, but then bouncing off of them seems to be the right fit for me. So, yeah, wow, we made it, huh? And, you know, my deep dive yesterday showed me so much. And I actually took myself through the imagery that came to me spontaneously that I will create for all of you, but I did it for myself. And I got a lot out of it. It was a lot about letting go. What else are we letting go of? I mean, of course, that was the full moon last time. And, you know, this time between winter solstice. See, I don't think that the new year begins on January 1, the calendar year. Yep, we flip the calendar over, we get a new calendar. But the energy is really, that's helping us create and co-create the new year. I believe begins at winter solstice, when we go into that time of reflection and review and that quiet time where hopefully we don't have so many distractions from the external world. Distractions. That's interesting. I think there's probably something there. Extractions from the external world. I'll have to think about that. Sometimes those little slips of the tongue are rich with soul wisdom. So pay attention to those distractions where we could get a little more quiet in our being. And there was a lot to distract us, in 2021 and 2020. I really think when I was writing my notes, I was thinking, this wasn't just an end of the year review. It was the last 2 years, because the energy of the last 2 years was really calling us to something greater. It wasn't about the thing you thought it was about. It was about what was in you that needed to be healed and transformed for the collective good. And if we missed that, we missed an opportunity to really shift a lot. And I think that's part of what the division is about. We're so focused on the thing we think it's about when we're missing the solution or the solution. And it's about our soul. It's about wisdom. It's about willingness to take personal responsibility and vision for something higher and greater. So I'm going to go back to my notes because I'm just going off now. Here we go. One thing I want to say is that during my deep dive, especially last night, I was just in a lot of physical pain and had a high fever. And so I did my imagery. One part of the imagery is, it's to go into the dark forest and to sit in the darkness and to be willing to sit in the darkness. And I do, again, think this is what 2020 and 2021 were about, this collective dark night of the soul, to sit in the darkness, to face those shadows, to face what isn't working, to face what we haven't been willing to look at. Well, first, again, in ourselves and then in the collective. And if we have those wires crossed, then we're not supporting the collective soul evolution. So this has been a tricky one for me. I've had a push-pull energy or kind of relationship with Facebook and Instagram. Maybe love-hate is more of the words I'm looking for. My resistance to being on Facebook was there at the very beginning, but I thought I could use it as anything. When you put intention towards what you're going to be participating in, you could hold that space for yourself and for others. And I did that for years. And my intention was to bring inspiration, new possibilities. And I did that. And I feel good about that. I don't know how long I've been on there now, but it's been a while. But it's changed for me over the last few years. And I've been back and forth. Do I want to stay? Do I want to go? And then I got into Instagram, and that allowed me to do those posts, more inspirational posts, and to have a voice there. And again, it was for the idea of having a greater outreach, hopefully getting new clients. And truth be told, I've been on there for a while, and I've only, I think, gotten maybe 2 new clients through Instagram. And that wasn't the main goal. The goal was to outreach. And I know that I have done that. I know that I have inspired and supported and nurtured soul potential there. But I last night got a really strong message that it's time to withdraw from there for a little while. I have so many other projects going on, and my energy will be best served in those places. So I'm going to withdraw. I'll still check my messages there because I still get emails and direct messages there. I'll pop on maybe if there's messages there, but I want to encourage you to connect with me by either emailing me at, I'm going to use this email for this year, thesoulnurturer@gmail, thesoulnurturer@gmail, or through my website, which is victoriajazwick.com, or the good old-fashioned way. Look me up. My phone is listed on my website. Go to my website, get my phone, and you can call me or text me. But yeah, it's been, and believe me, this is getting to you. This is not all about me. That this year, and in particular in this month, in this potent, powerful, super new moon, which means that the moon is closest to the earth and we're going to feel this energy more. I really feel that it's about getting real about what's not working and taking responsibility for our soul potential, for our lives, and what we contribute to the world. So I will say this, if there's anyone listening or that follows me, and I think I already thanked you, I may be repeating myself. I'm a little out of it, as you can hear. But if there's anyone out there who is inspired by my work and would like to do a role for me, a position of managing my Instagram, I would be totally open for that. And that may look like you just watch my videos, pull a few little quotes out, create something, and put it on Instagram. We would coordinate this together, of course. And I would, at this time, the position would be a trade position. So if you're interested in that, let me know. So told you how to stay in contact with me, but I am going to continue with the YouTube channel. And as much as I would like to not, because it does, it evokes so much in me of I'll say this, it is a great way to look at my unconscious material. Comes up a lot. And the reason I'm going to stay with the YouTube channel is because I'm learning and I'm growing here. And I am demonstrating what I believe. I'm hopefully role modeling what it's like to show up for a soul call when you don't feel ready or prepared, or your loud ego is trying to talk you out of it. Because remember, our egos want to keep us safe in that old way of being in old comfort zones. So an ego will point out everything that's wrong and not good about what you're offering. But this is what I've been demonstrating, hopefully over the last 2 years of having a YouTube channel, is it looks messy and it's not always perfect. And in fact, don't even strive for perfection. It doesn't work. So yes, I'm still called to be here on YouTube. I'm really honored by the people who do watch my channel. I had to get past the ego feeling of my channel, follow me. I don't like all that. I don't like any of it. But I do love showing up here for you. And I love feeling the connection. And I love comments and I love emails that come where something I said touched somebody else's soul. And for me, that's all I'm here to do. All right, now I want to go down here. Let's get back to the new moon, shall we? And before I do that, I want to go ahead and light a candle. This is my first candle lighting of the new year. And I invite you to go ahead and get your own candle and to bring in this light, the divine light, to guide us forward. And to center in that. When I light a candle, I just feel the sense of really being held in the divine light. And how important that is to remember, especially these days, right? So now for the first new moon of the new year. And like I said earlier, I really feel that the new year on calendar or New Year's Eve is not as significant as the time in between winter solstice to the first new moon of January. In the new moon, we set intentions. I don't know who came up with resolutions for New Year's. It never worked for me. It felt like punishing, and I don't know. I never liked resolutions. I mean, we can resolve to be better, and that's awesome. But mostly, and what's more powerful is to set intention for what you desire. So this is a good time to set intention, of course. And also a lot of people will like to have an intentional word for the year to kind of anchor them into what they want to create. Well, for me, this potent, again, supermoon in Capricorn, and we're going to dive into that a little bit more about what is the energy of Capricorn. But I think it's so purposeful. And this is where I got into astrology again. And I will say, tentatively, because my people pleaser was very active when I decided to come front and center with my studying of astrology. There was a lot of fear of judgment. There was a lot of fear from especially my Christian friends, and yet it kept calling to me, and I kept feeling aligned with my soul and aligned with my faith and with my creator. And I thought, because it helped guide me through these very turbulent years, it was a way for me to help others navigate this turbulent time as well. And isn't that what God, creator, the universe, however you connect, is trying to do for us, to guide us, support us? I always say this, it's kind of old now, but I say it often, that do you really think creator would send us here without any guidance or support? And for me, that's what astrology is. So new moon in Capricorn, and we'll get into what Capricorn is in a little bit, but I want to just share some other aspects going on with this one. Let me back up a little bit here. I want to say that again. So in January with the new moon, this is a time, and especially because the new moon will always be in January, will always be in Capricorn. And because the new moon is a conjunction with the sun, this is the Capricorn season. And the new moon in January, of course, is conjunct to the sun. And so this is a time, this is the perfect time for setting the foundation for the year ahead of us, setting intentions, goal setting, putting a plan of action together for your vision. So you can become what I call a vision actionary, getting those visions done. So today we also have, and this will, a direct aspect is like most potent on the day, but we can feel it a little bit before and a little bit after too. So we have Sun trine Uranus. This could be surprising shifts, or also Mercury went into Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So like a quick and sudden awareness with something you've been wrestling with. And this is what happened with me last night. Just a sense of, I know what I need to do, and it's not be on Instagram right now or Facebook right now. And so these quick breakthrough ideas or thoughts could be really prominent today, or nice surprises. We got a beautiful gift from our community, really unexpected is another word. And it really brought me to tears. I want to talk about crying too. There's so much to talk about. I'll just give you a little foreshadowing of that, but Jupiter is now in Pisces, went into Pisces on December 28th. And so I have been noticing myself a little bit more weepy, crying. My heart is overflowing with compassion, super tender. Anybody else feeling that energy right now? All right, back to today. We also have, so I said Sun trine Uranus, and also the moon is trine Uranus. So remember, the moon is our emotions. And so we may have some quick turnarounds too with how we've been feeling stuck, and we have a breakthrough moment. And we always pray for those. And as a transformational soul guide, that is what I am all about, helping my clients have those insightful breakthroughs to where they've been stuck, to where their soul's calling them to. Then we have moon sextile Neptune as well, and that's kind of sweet energy. It's kind of Venusian energy, and it's good energy for visioning, for really dusting yourself off and your broken places and breathing new life into those places, those heartbreaks and those things you struggled with over this last year or two. So, okay, so Capricorn season, Capricorn new moon, setting intentions and taking care of business. I think that's, part of the overarching theme of this year. I really, when I was sitting with this new moon, I was thinking how really impactful the new moon of the first month is. It kind of, again, lays that foundation. So that is probably why energetically people started saying, make resolutions. And it comes, for me, the more I study this, that's like organically came out of this, right? That there's this structure in astrology. There's this sort of soul blueprint when you look at how astrology unfolds our lives and our collective experience. It's pretty amazing. And for me, it gives me even more certainty of creator, that knowing that God is definitely very much supporting us and evolving, transforming, and having support in this life school that we're in. Okay, so here's my feeling about this month, this new moon, reviewing the last couple of years. What, where did you change or hopefully transform? Remember, changing is something changed. You left a job, you're not in a relationship, you moved into a new location. But how did you transform is what you did with what happened. That's the key. That's the key. Okay. So, yeah, there was much to review towards personal and collective transformation, wasn't there? I want to say this, anything I say, the moment you get a sort of a light bulb moment, and light bulb moments for me is when the soul illuminates some kind of a connection there, go ahead and comment. I love in this year, I'm setting this intention for 2022 of interacting with my people here on YouTube a little bit more. I don't know what that looks like, but certainly commenting helps me meet you where you are and interact there. Okay. So okay, let me just read what I wrote because I'm trying to bounce off of it when I can just read it. So there's a lot to review, right? To create, and this is the key, to review, not just to go, well, that sucked, that was hard, no, but to look at it and harvest not only the gifts and strengths, which I talked about in the last video, but to create your personal work agenda for this year. And I know you go, work, no, this is Capricorn. And I will say this, Capricorn suns, if you have a Capricorn sun or moon or a rising sign or Saturn in your first house, I have the last two. I have Capricorn rising and Saturn in my first house. This is something we need to make peace with in general, that there's always, the kind of the archetypal energy of Capricorn is hardworking, overcoming obstacles, the metaphoric, goat climbing up the mountain, that metaphoric mountain that we have to climb constantly, right? Capricorn's out there, or Capricorn moon or rising or Saturn in the first house, let me hear from you. This is something I've had to make peace with. My life is a journey of one big challenge after another, one big hardship. And it's not a hardship. I really feel that it is the sacred fuel to bring our sacred purpose. So everything that meets you, whether you're a Capricorn or not, I'm speaking to my Capricorn people, and all of you, by the way, have Capricorn in you and in your chart. And when I talk in generalities about new moons and full moons or whatever I'm talking about with astrology, it's more accurate when we look at your actual chart, which is based on the time of your birth, the moment you took your first breath here. And so wherever Capricorn is in your chart is where you're going to be most impacted by this new moon. Mine happens to be in the first house. So for a new moon or a full moon, we get to borrow the energy of the moon. So we're borrowing, for those of you who don't get to live in it like I do, you get to borrow the feel of Capricorn energy, which is the taskmaster, which is the one saying, get real, take responsibility, time to get serious, create your personal work agenda. And it's not just what you want to achieve in your career. In fact, it's more important taking responsibility for what's not working in your thoughts, your beliefs, and your current patterns. This is a big thing that came through for me last night, and again in this meditation imagery. It's like God, the universe isn't isn't going to give us much grace anymore. Those niggling things that you've known and you're like, it's fine, I can do that. It's not a big deal. Those taps on the shoulder you've gotten about do this differently, or this isn't working anymore, or this relationship isn't working, or this job isn't your soul match. Those types of nudges, we're not going to have much grace for them anymore. I feel like we're going to get, the heat is turned up, the heat has been turned up for the last 2 years. And hopefully, and what I'm getting right now is that heat's been turned up for 2 years to alchemize the, all of the unconscious material that's not aligned with our soul, and to transform, transmute, and bring forward more of our soul resonance. I don't even know that much about alchemy. My husband studies it, but that's kind of what just wanted to come through. So, so this feels like taking more responsibility for yourself, for the life you've created. This is the retracting of blaming others. If only this and only that, and why aren't they this? This is about, what are you doing? What are you believing that's blocking you from achieving what you want? What patterns are you doing that are not supporting your highest soul potential? This is about you. And from that personal responsibility, then we can contribute more to the collective. So taking responsibility for what's not working, setting up the foundations to support you and your vision in 2022. There's so much going on. Boy, I hope, this is going to be a long one. Pace yourself. So, and I'm going to pace my throat. Actually, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. The other thing that's really interesting, again, back on that reviewing thing, is that Venus went retrograde on December 19th, and it will be in retrograde until January 29th in Capricorn. And Mercury is going into retrograde on January 14th, which means that we are in the shadow of that retrograde energy, which means, anybody have a guess what that means? It means that you're probably feeling it already. Okay, I noticed some wonky things happening with my computer and some weird messages I was getting, and I was like, early, becoming early Mercury retrograde. Anyway, also in this Venus retrograde is, it's conjuncting, or Pluto is conjuncting Venus. So remember, retrogrades give us that opportunity to use all those RE words: review, revisit, reconsider, reconstruct. And so Venus, and with this, has been aspecting with Pluto, is wanting us to really looking more deeply at all that Venus is connected with: relationships, money, pleasure, creativity. So reviewing, but not just like, oh, what did I learn about that relationship? Or where am I stuck with my creativity? Or where am I, what do I need to look at here? And by the way, this is my work. This is my life's work. The transformational soul guide work is to look at your beliefs. That's where we go. We drop in. It's the belief that creates an emotional reaction, response, creates a pattern, keeps us stuck. So we need to look at, what do you believe about relationships? And not just, and again, because Pluto's here joining this party, not just the surface. And here's what I want to say about this. If you're reviewing relationships right now, sure, glean from your most recent relationship or the one you're in, but know that Pluto in this review, in this Venus retrograde, is saying, go to the heart wound, go to the emotional wound and the patterning and what you learned as a child. Remember, the majority of what we do in the subconscious mind, we gleaned when we were kids and didn't have any capacity to say, I don't want to believe that about relationships. I believe this. No, you get imprinted with what you saw your mom or your dad do in a relationship. And that pattern stays pretty firmly anchored in your being, no matter how much work you do. And you have to work to offset that, to create new beliefs, to claim first your foundational beliefs and what you believe about yourself. Number one, you are safe to have the relationship of your desire. Number two, you are worthy of having the relationship of your desire. Okay, safety and worthiness are the two key components to reconstructing old beliefs. Okay, so, but remember to, yes, glean from the relationship, but if all of your anger and angst is going to the person you're in a relationship with currently or were in, you're missing the point. Go back to the root, go back to that original emotional wound to do some deeper healing. Okay, so of course, then there's Mercury that's going into retrograde. And, just a lot of reviewing your beliefs. Remember, you want your beliefs to support you in this new year, getting those foundational beliefs in cemented to support you, to grow your potential, to nurture your soul potential. Okay, review, reassess. And I'm just looking at my notes again, even though I think I just said I'm going to read it again. So it's time to get real and get clear And we will not be able to avoid those issues in our lives that we've been avoiding any longer. And I think I already said that, but it's worth repeating. It's time to face them, to roll up your sleeves and do something different. This is what the last year was about, learning to get out of our stuck ruts and to do something different. And this is that another invitation here. Okay, so now back to Jupiter. I feel this is going to make all the difference this year, because wherever Jupiter is, it expands that energy, and wherever it is in your chart, that's like a little blessing, a little expansion in your chart. And Jupiter was in Aquarius, which expanded us looking at what's not working in in the world and collective and community. And what was that word? It was fleeting. Humanitarian issues. But it was also like a real big push to be innovative, to think outside the box, to vision beyond anything you've ever had experienced. Like if you want to create something new, you got to stop looking at how you did it in the past, and you got to think about, I mean, of course, look at how you did it in the past for what's still working. Keep what's working, for sure, but build on with more innovative ways to do it differently. And in surprising ways. Again, that Uranus energy is so surprising that people will be like, are you okay? You are, really different. And you're going to go, yeah, isn't that great? I am different. I've really been working on being different and making peace with being different. It's a funny thing about transformation. Everybody wants it, but nobody wants anyone else to change. Or they have a hard time accepting our changes because we're no longer the person that they used to know. People that you want in your soul group, your soul community, are those who, look at my glowing background. By the way, I wanted to say, this is a vision I have for 2022. It's been a soul dream of mine for a long time, to not just see the Northern Lights, but to really be immersed in them. So I think a trip to Alaska is in my future. But so anyway, I just had to say that because I'm looking at them now. So where was I? Okay, I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon because I'm starting to feel not unwell again. Oh, but and that's Pisces, Jupiter and Pisces, yes. Expanding. Pisces is connected to visioning and creativity and our spirituality and mysticism. So I feel, and compassion. And that's why I think I've been crying more. Where in the Aquarius, when Jupiter was in Aquarius, it's a more detached energy. Again, I think this is where there could have been more, led to the division, because when you're detached from people, you don't feel them. You don't feel what they might be feeling. Jupiter in Pisces, I think, expands that compassion. We feel how others are feeling. We feel what's happening in the world. We feel what's happening in our life. And there may be some tears, and tears are cleansing. And again, helping us soothe and wash away the pain from the last couple of years. But Jupiter in Pisces also helps us have those grander visions for higher possibilities, birthed out of compassion and love and unity. So I'm really excited about Jupiter in Pisces. And for those of you who are Pisces, you may feel like a little extra burst of energy and blessing and feeling really empowered this year. Okay, where am I now? Okay, so I will say this, though. I didn't mean this to be a whole review of the whole year, but I have some things to touch on there, which is that Saturn square Uranus, which was the active aspect in 2021. Saturn, remember, the old structures, old way of being, limited thinking, was square Uranus, which again was that collective invitation to do things differently. That we won't have the exact aspect is over. That was it the 20th or December 20th or 21st? 20th, I think. But it's still in the background in 2022. just making sure that we do take action on what and where we were nudged, pushed, or forced to look at things that weren't working. So that's still going to be there. And, so personally for this, again, soul transformation is what habits, patterns, ways of beings have been preventing you from emerging with more of your soul potential and the next version of you. I like that idea. I started shifting and saying that more instead of reclaiming the authentic soul nature, which is true too. But it's also in the human experience, it's just the next version. Like we get these downloads in our computers and our phones, to when we get this downloaded information, we get improved capacity, right? So this is just the next version of you. So think about 2021 and 2020. You received downloaded information, whether you were tuned in or not, supporting you and emerging your next version of you, connected to your soul potential, connected to your soul wisdom, all that good stuff. So now I'm going to really focus in on the new moon in Capricorn. Finally, hey, if I had a little video producer, I'd have little markers that could tell you where to go directly to where I'm going to talk, what I'm talking about. But maybe we'll get there. This is my second year, but for now, I'm just going to keep going. And maybe at some point, I'll get fancy like that. Who knows? Okay, so new moon in the new year. My chair is pretty squeaky today. The symbol for Capricorn is the mountain goat or the sea goat. And as I said earlier, it's always climbing up to that metaphorical mountain. If you know any Capricorns, they've always got a project. They're always working on something, moving towards something, or Capricorn rising like me. You hear me use that word a lot. I've got a project. I've got a project. And Capricorn energy is about overcoming hardships and obstacles. And as I said before, in fact, these hardships and obstacles are the sacred fuel. So we're using the sacred fuel of reviewing the hardships and the obstacles that we have overcome and creating a foundation and maybe even a vision for climbing up the mountain that is before us, the mountain of our dreams, of our desires, of our visions. So the archetypal, I wanted to talk about this too, the archetypal expressions of Capricorn. Let me just go here, which is role. Okay, I want to make sure I'm still recording. It doesn't look like I am. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't see that it's recording. I just got a phone call that came in. And I'm hoping, okay, there it is. I see recording. Sorry for that little glitch. Real time, real me. Okay. So the archetypal expressions of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, are structure. These are all themes I've talked about already. And again, see where they apply to you. Responsibility, boundaries, setting boundaries. That's part of the reason I'm not going to be on Instagram for a little while. It was an energetic spill for me, like too much there. And Facebook is especially, I need to set an energetic boundary. Boundaries are not just about with people. It's in your life anywhere. I was talking to a friend the other day, and seriously, it was so silly. I was talking about all the projects I have, Capricorn rising, Saturn in the first house, and how behind I feel in everything. And I said, I just need to stop answering my phone. And then I was like, why don't I just turn off my phone? Hadn't even thought about that. Like, why would I know. I don't turn my phone off. Sometimes I put it on airplane mode. I rarely turn it off. So that's a boundary too. Boundaries are like claiming the space for yourself that supports you, however that looks, okay? So also Saturn, archetypal expression of Saturn is authority and mastery. So being the authority of your own life and mastering what you're called to. Whatever your soul calls are, whether you're a writer, a healer, a soul guide, I'm talking to myself right now, or whatever you do, a teacher, a nurse, a doctor, our heroes right now, that all you've grown through and been brought through has been bringing you to mastery of your own soul skills, your own soul gifts. Okay. So I'm going to wrap up by just saying that this is what this new moon in Capricorn is calling us to get real, take responsibility for those soul gifts, to look at where they've been kind of carved out of the hardships of what we've just grown through, how you've changed or transformed, and to take inventory of that. Changed. Well, let's see. I'm a brunette now. I I've been a blonde for years. I used to say my silly phrase was, "I was born blonde, and I'm going to go out that way." But then when we couldn't get to our hairstylists, I just decided to, like many people, let it grow out. And so now I'm a brunette, and that's a change. But where I've transformed is in allowing myself to be who I am and making peace with that and accepting who I am. Even my wisdom highlights coming in here. So yeah, my hair changed, but how I transformed was how I integrated that change. That's another way to how we can talk about transformation. So set your intentions, create, maybe you want to even do this right now and comment, what is your intentional word for the year? Create a plan of action to support your vision and take your soul potential seriously. And start climbing up that mountain one step at a time towards your dreams, desires, and vision. And I'll be walking right beside you, okay? And really do reach for support if you need support. I love the work that I do. It's an honor to walk beside my clients and to peek at that soul chart as a layer of guidance and support. I really do love what I do. And I'm really grateful that I think 2020 or 2021, I branded myself after many, many years of reflection of what do I do? What did I do? And this phrase, the soul nurturer, came to me. And I feel like I've been growing into that more and claiming that more. And so that is what I offer you, to walk alongside of you, to help you nurture your soul potential, that beautiful soul of yours. And before I close, I just wanted to grab this cup purposefully. And this morning, because it had the word faith on it. And then when I read the entire message, I thought, I need to share this with my people out there, because again, this feels so purposeful for this year coming forward for us. So here we go. Here's my cup. Oh, you can't see it in this magical, there it is. Not very good. It's like a ghost cup. Okay. Anyway, it says, faith isn't always a leap. Sometimes it's just one little step after another. And then here's the last part. Let's see if you can see it. So it's just sometimes it's just one little step after another with lots, and this is the key, we have to make peace with. We had this in the last couple of years, and there's more ahead of us, and it's part of growing, and it's okay. With lots of falling down and getting back up. What's this last part? Oh, with a lot of falling down and getting back up in between, okay? There's that old Zen saying that says, fall down 7 times, get up 8, something like that. Falling down is just part of learning. Mistakes are part of growing. It's all feedback. Remember that classic quote, there's no failure, there's only feedback. And remember too, the feedback that's most important is the feedback from your own soul. Not everyone's going to like what you offer. Not everyone's going to like what you do or say. Mostly that's the projection of themselves onto you. But if you're triggered or something opens up in you about that, that just means it's a place for you to look. But ultimately, when you're aligned with your soul, you have a deeper knowing what's for you and what's not, and what works and what doesn't. Okay? This is Capricorn new moon speaking to you. You are the authority of your soul, your body, and what you're unfolding. And I think that we have a great year ahead of us, but let the compassion of the Jupiter and Pisces permeate every cell of your body. Clear out your judgments, clear out your blaming and your finger pointing. I think we had enough of that in 2021 and 2020, right? 2020. 2020 and 2021, which, I have to say that in 2020, at the very beginning of the year, I made a lot of posts, as many people did, about 2020 vision, getting really clear. We were going to see what we needed to see so that we could create what we wanted to create, not out of conditioned way of being, not out of illusion, but out of our true soul knowing of possibility. And wow, we saw a lot, didn't we? And now here we are in 2022, 222, which I believe those numbers mean faith and trust. So we're leaning into more of our faith and trust. But again, as I was saying about the Jupiter compassion, my wish for all of us is that we just saturate in compassion for ourselves and for others. And we let it dissolve all the judgment and the anger and the division. And it allows us to vision for something grander, something that's based out of love and not fear. That is my wish for all of us. And always, I'm here to support that in you and in me. And creating vision together that supports the highest and greatest good for all. All right. So much love to you. Just want to swish out a lot of love and compassion in this month through the entire year. Let it be a foundational piece that holds us. And just a last reminder to stay connected to me through YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, please. And if you want to get my monthly newsletter or email, it's really just an email through MailChimp. Send me an email at thesoulnurturer at Gmail. And let me know you want to stay connected. Let me know too, if you're not a public commenter, that's fine. Send me an email. Let me know what you got out of this journey with me on YouTube. That actually is sacred fuel for me to keep going. And then I'll keep you in the loop of what I'm going to be doing or what I'm going to do in 2022. And I would love to help you fulfill your vision, your soul vision in 2022. So stay tuned with me, stay connected to me through that email, or look at my phone number on my website, victoriajaswick.com. Stay with me. I'm here. I just am not going to be active on those social platforms for a while. Okay. Much love to you and yours. Until next time, take good care of you and nurture that beautiful soul potential of yours.